Um, the resources are here. The land is here. The different, you know, I would say with Kenya specifically, the land is here in terms of there's still a lot of free and available land. Kenya's a somewhat decent sized country, and the land itself has quite fertile soil, which is good for farming. Kenya, it's on the equator, so you can grow avocados, bananas, many different kinds of fruits and crops here. And yeah, there's some of the land is also mountainous, and that's where a lot of Kenya's tea is grown. And again, that that helps pay the bills. Kenya's the third largest tea producer in the world. I don't know if you knew that. So the first two are India and China. So you think you got the top three producers of tea in the whole world, and there is Kenya, and the other two are India and China. And when you look at the stats and you look at how much is produced, if you were to look at it at a per person basis, Kenyan farmers produce a lot more per person. Again, they're the third largest producer, and Kenya is like a country with about close to 50 million people. You know, so yeah, that seems to serve them well. But the point is, um, yes, Kenya has these resources, and the country's not doing too bad for itself, all things considered. It could be a lot better, but it could also be a lot worse. But yes, I will say that the resources are here again. The land is here. The um, youth, that's something also very important in terms of the human capital. Um, there's a lot of things. The markets, the global markets that different Kenyan businesses can sell to are there. But it's Kenya's what I see when I think of different businesses and business practices and work practices, and more than anything, governance when it comes to the government is yes, that lack of exposure, and in turn, and again, it's one of those things. People only know what they've been exposed to, and you can only tell someone so much. Sometimes people have to kind of experience and learn these things for themselves. And I think the same can apply to different countries, where yes, the resources are here in Kenya, but I would say the country lacks a number of things that prevents them from using and making different combinations of these resources to yield the best outcomes for the country. And I think one of them is just, yep, lack of a lack of information. So yeah, a lack of authentic, reliable data on just where the country is at, and then yeah, a lack of exposure to solutions. I don't know. So the first point is yes, crucially, data. Kenya's not too bad in all fairness. You can, for example, I think you can go. There's like a government website that is used for is used as a platform for businesses or people that are interested in investing in Kenya. And even when you go on that website, yeah, it's full of a lot of good information in terms of it talks about all the different counties in Kenya and some of their major projects and initiatives, um, different projects that are in the works, basic information on like the number of like schools, number of children going to schools, number of hospitals, maybe electricity usage. So there is something there. Kenya is trying, but there's still, I think, a lot more to keep a record of and kind of publish in terms of data and information that can be used to help identify problems and the solutions to those problems, the opportunities. Because that's the thing, when we talk about Africa and what's plaguing it, one thing you'll notice in a lot of the conversations is we all have different answers. You know, some will say, different African countries have the issues that they have because of geography, okay? Then there will be others that say Africa is where it is now because of corruption. You know, just give the blanket answer, corruption. Others will go, oh, it's because of, because Africa has a place within a racist, neoliberal economic system that works to extract as much value from the continent and leave as little there as possible, because to leave more there would mean less profits for other nations and other companies. You know, there's all of these different answers. And, granted, it could be a combination of all, and there is no one answer to such a complex problem. We find ourselves always having this conversation and constantly going round in circles, in part because we don't know what our problems are. I think there are some that many can immediately identify in terms of... let me put it a different way. We, here in Africa, yes, many of us find ourselves in a situation where we're out of our depth, where people understand that there are issues here, there are problems, but they don't understand the severity of them. So, for instance, let's say, a bad road that's leading to a port within your city. People understand that bad road is going to lead to, if it's rocky and it's not smoothly paved, you're going to be constantly bumping. That's going to lead to more congestion as cars have to slow down to avoid them and maybe reduce their speed so they don't mess up their tires. And then more congestion means longer travel times. And then that messes up your logistics in terms of if you maybe wanted to, I don't know, just maybe set up a shop and import something from a nearby country and then sell it locally. It's going to become more difficult for you to do that because of the poor infrastructure. It's going to, you're not going to be able to transport and sell as much to other parts of the country as you would have liked to because of that inhibition, that restriction that has been placed on you by this poor infrastructure. And that wider picture that I just explained is one that I don't. Yes, I think, people are many of us understand that's an issue here, but the severity of it in terms of that example I just expressed to you regarding the bad road by the port and how it would lead to congestion and how it would make, let's say, a merchant's job of importing and selling goods to other people that bit more difficult. We need the numbers. We need the numbers. We need to then identify those numbers and attach them to particular regions at particular times of the day, and maybe use that to calculate how much a better road, what type of income would that yield, or what kind of efficiency savings would that yield in terms of if you have a better road, you're able to transport your goods back and forth quicker and make a lot more money. You make a lot more money, you pay more taxes, you employ more workers, you are helping the economy to grow and develop. And if you were to have that data in terms of how, to describe and talk about how much it's costing your economy, then you could use that to help justify why you need a loan, why you need to use this taxpayer money or borrow this money from elsewhere to invest in this, okay, and show that, hey, if we borrow this money to build this road, it will generate us this much income when we look at the additional trade and opportunities it will create, and then that helps put more money in our pocket as a county government that we can then use to repay your loan with interest, whatever it may be. And yes, like, those things just don't really exist in large quantities here in Kenya, at least. And I can imagine it's a similar situation for a number of other African countries when we think about information and data.